I ask that you please take your seats. We will begin tonight's meeting. And before I call the meeting to order, I would like to read the city's land acknowledgement. The West Hollywood City Council acknowledges that the land on which we gather, and that is currently known as the City of West Hollywood, is the occupied, unceded, seized territory of the Gabrieleño Tongva and the Gabrieleño Quiche peoples. I will call this meeting of the March 17th, 2025 City Council meeting to order. It's 6 p.m. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Will Isla Sharg come up and please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Isla. City Clerk, may we please have a roll call?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I will note Councilmember Erickson is absent this evening. Councilmember Heng?
Here.
Councilmember Meister?
Here.
Vice Mayor Heilman?
Here.
Mayor Byers?
Here.
And we have a quorum.
Fantastic. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda. City Clerk, are there any changes from staff first?
Yes, for item E1, which is the appointment and reappointments, given that Councilmember Erickson is absent this evening, we will just continue with any direct appointments that the council is ready to make this evening, and we will table the at-large appointments to the next meeting.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. And do my colleagues have any proposed changes tonight?
Yes, Mayor. I'm wondering if we could move items F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, and F6 to consent.
I have one request for F5, which was the item on co-sponsorship, and that was an increase in the total co-sponsorship amount from 2,500 to 5,000. If that's amenable to you all, and we can fold that in consent now, terrific. If we need to have a discussion, we should hold it.
Let's hold that then.
Okay. It was F. He did, yes.
F1 through all of the Fs.
Every F.
I would like to comment on F1.
So we'll hold F1 and F5.
And I don't know if we can move item D1 to consent. It's an ordinance regarding rebates.
Yes, D1 can be moved. I'll just read the title of the ordinance into the record.
I have questions.
Oh, okay.
I need a quick question.
Council member has questions. Let's hold that then.
So then we have a request to move items F2, F2, which is the use of Los Angeles Unified School District recreational facilities after hours. F3, the update to the city's Matthew Shepard Human Rights Triangle and Crescent Heights Triangle. F4, the free parking to support the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce initiative. And F6, the sponsorship of a Healthy City by Design symposium. Is that correct? Okay, and we have a motion on the table. And a second.
And the motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. Do any of my colleagues have any Levine Act disclosures you need to report?
No.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any adjournment motions? Vice Mayor Heilman, I believe you had one.
Yes, thank you. I would request that we adjourn in memory of Felice Picano. Felice Picano was a celebrated author, publisher, and literary pioneer whose work shaped LGBTQ+ literature. He passed away on March 12, 2025 at the age of 81, leaving behind a legacy of storytelling, mentorship, and advocacy. Felice was a trailblazer in LGBTQ+ publishing. He co-founded the influential Seahorse Press and was a key figure in Violet Quill, a collective of gay writers that helped define a new era of queer literature. His novels, memoirs, and essays illuminated the complexities of LGBTQ+ life. He was bold, he was authentic, and he resonated with generations of readers. For many years, Felice made his home in the northern part of the Norma Triangle in West Hollywood. He was a beloved presence at the West Hollywood Book Fair. He contributed to panels and discussions for over a decade in West Hollywood in celebration of LGBTQ+ literature, and I would request that we adjourn in his memory tonight.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to add two motions as well. First, Linda Becerra Moran. It is with profound sorrow that we recognize the tragic and unaccepted killing of Linda Becerra Moran, a valued member of our community and a client of the Trans-Latina Coalition. Linda was actively seeking help for the violence she was experiencing when she was fatally shot by an officer of the Los Angeles Police Department on February 7th, and she passed away on February 27th. The circumstances surrounding her death demand immediate action and have made calls for mass community mobilization, looking into accountability and a commitment to justice from our region's leadership. We recognize and honor the life of Linda Becerra Moran, which ended too soon. I also want to recognize the victims of the recent storms in the southern United States. We too, here in the Los Angeles region, devastated by these climate-driven storms, recognize the real deep pain and sorrow that an entire region, more than 6 U.S. states are suffering from now, and more than 40 deaths so far. Our hearts are with those many lives and families who are grieving the loss and picking up their lives in the midst of this devastating tragedy. So thank you, and if my colleagues don't have any other adjournment motions tonight, then we will move on to the 2 presentations we have this evening. And first, I just want to call up Isla Sharg once again to be recognized for joining us tonight in the Pledge of Allegiance. We thank you so much for being here. And next, we have one proclamation to Lev Volovic. This is very special. Lev Volovic is the esteemed founder of the Unity and Diversity Arts Foundation and a very passionate advocate for the arts. And when the city of West Hollywood was established the Russian-speaking advisory board, Lev became one of its founding members, dedicating his time and energy to organizing cultural events and creating a platform for local artists to showcase their talents. And his unwavering commitment to the arts flourished in West Hollywood as a result, where he played a pivotal role in launching numerous cultural concerts, art exhibitions, and ultimately the prestigious Colibri competition for young performers. And when established in 2004, the Unity and Diversity Arts Foundation was founded by Lev Volovic with the support of a collective of artists and professionals from the Russian-speaking community in Los Angeles. Their mission is to support musicians, theater groups, art studios, painters, photographers, and other creative individuals from the former Soviet Union, helping them to integrate into the American artistic landscape and reach their full creative potential. The Unity and Diversity Arts Foundation continues to inspire and promote artistic expression, enriching the cultural fabric of West Hollywood and beyond by making the arts more accessible and affordable, ensuring that people from all backgrounds have the opportunity to experience world-class artistic and cultural education. And whereas Lev Volovic celebrates his 90th birthday, his passion for the arts remains as strong as ever, and his legacy is supported by his loving family, his wife Ina, their 2 sons, 4 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild, who stand proudly by his side, honoring his lifelong dedication to culture and creativity. So now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of West Hollywood hereby recognize Lev Volovic for his invaluable contributions to the arts within West Hollywood community and beyond, and extends his warmest congratulations on this milestone birthday. At this time, we're going to come out and take a picture with you, Lev. All good.
Окей. Я собирался сказать пару слов и перечислить свои деяния.
Thanks, John.
Но мне сейчас
I was going to say pretty much the same that you read from my proclamation.
Но Татьяна меня поправила. Я единственное хочу сказать, что я являюсь резидентом нашего дорогого города уже 33 года.
I just want to add that I have been living in the city of West Hollywood for 33 years.
И город стал мне родным.
And the city became my
Я встретил здесь
native town.
замечательных людей.
The city became so dear. I met so many wonderful people in this city.
Со многими из которых я подружился.
And we have become friends.
Более 10 лет я был членом Russian Advisory Board
For
первого состава.
more than 10 years, I was the member of the Russian-speaking advisory board.
Ну, уже в предварительном слове Челси говорила обо всех моих деяниях.
As Mayor Byers has already mentioned everything that I achieved and I was involved,
Я думаю, мне повторяться не
and I
надо.
don't want to repeat
Я единственное
anything.
хочу выразить благодарность за помощь, за поддержку.
I want to express my gratitude for your help and your support.
В лице Татьяны Родзине.
And Tatiana has been a great help and support.
Я надеюсь на дальнейшую поддержку всех членов консульского совета.
And I hope for the future support of all of you, the entire city council,
Mayor Byers,
Mayor Byers,
Vice Mayor Hellman, Council Member Meister, Erickson, and Hank. Thank you very much.
he said it all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What an honor to celebrate your remarkable life and achievement. So at this time, we will move on to the first public comment period. And thank you, Tatiana, for your help with that translation also. We'll move on to the first public comment period. The City Council values your comments. However, pursuant to the Brown Act, the Council cannot take action on items not listed on the posted agenda. The public comment period is limited to 20 minutes with 2 minutes allotted for each speaker. This public comment period is to address the City Council on consent calendar items, other agenda items if the member of the public cannot be present at the time the item is considered, or items of general interest within the jurisdiction of the City Council agenda. Another period is also reserved for general comment later in the meeting for those that could not be heard at this time. Public hearing testimony will only be taken at the time of the hearing. If you signed up to speak on both consent calendar items and general public comment, as well as an item that was moved to consent calendar, you may take this public comment period to speak on the consent calendar items. You may also sign up to speak during the second public comment period for your general public comment. Lastly, speakers should not bring any items to the podium other than a written prepared statement or writing materials. Your time will begin as soon as you arrive at the podium. Madam City Clerk, how many speakers do we have signed up?
We have 11 speakers in chambers, and we don't have anyone in Zoom this evening.
Okay, we should be able to get through everyone. I'll start calling names, so we have the first few folks prepared. I have Kevin Burton, followed by Wendy Goldman, followed by Genevieve Morrell.
Good evening, Council. I'm Kevin Burton, a resident of West Hollywood, and I wanted to thank the city for installing protected left turn signals, meaning green left arrows on Fountain Avenue and Fairfax Avenue. That's a busy intersection for left turns. I do it on a bicycle, so these are overdue. I would say the city has missed an opportunity, however, to further recognize bicycling as an established mode of transportation in the city, because The bicycles waiting to make a left turn are not recognized as cars are. And state law does require that when signals are upgraded, that all those signals do recognize bicycles waiting to make a left turn. So I'm a little surprised that hasn't been done. It does require hardware in the street or video camera. It so happens that going north, turning left onto Fountain, the type of loop in the pavement that will detect bicycles is already there. And it's kind of a loop that has a diagonal through it that'll detect bicycles. So I don't think it'd be too much trouble to upgrade that to detect bicycles. Helps not only the bicycles, but if it doesn't detect us 5 cars behind us, we're not going to get the left turn signal, neither are they. So it would really help everybody. Secondly, that was B13. F3, I wanted to thank the city for planning to upgrade the Human Rights Triangle Crescent and Santa Monica Crescent Heights, especially Matthew Shepard Human Rights Triangle. There's no sign there on the ground indicating what it is. There's only this one sign way up on a pole, only visible to westbound traffic. So I'm sure the city can do better than that. And we look forward to the improvements. Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy Goldman, followed by Genevieve Morel, followed by Jordan Beard.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, staff, and distinguished guests. Wendy Goldman, West Hollywood, and Block Captain for Cynthia Sunset Neighborhood Watch. I would like to speak on item F2, West Hollywood Elementary School, or LA Unified, as a potential recreational area for residents. While I applaud the creative use of available space, there are many drawbacks. Please be advised that this idea won't satisfy the need for more green canopy. You should factor in after-school programs that end at 6 o'clock would restrict hours of use. During summer vacation from June to early August, campers will take over most of the playground. Amenities for bad weather like canopied picnic tables and benches are needed. There are a few shade trees and other plants. We want gardens with flowers and a play area for children. There are now stairs at the gated entrance on Harrod Street, which is not accessible for disabled residents. During winter months, it will be too limited when it gets dark earlier. Even if suggestions are implemented, the school playground space is not the park that we envision for our area. We want a decent place to enjoy the outdoors, one that is dedicated for year-round use, not an asphalt area that becomes too hot to enjoy with few trees or amenities. I encourage you to purchase vacant land and develop it into a public park using revenue from Sunset Strip hotels and nightlife that's pouring into city accounts. Your eyes have been focused on every other part of the city as the deteriorating conditions and empty storefronts multiply on Sunset Strip. Make it a condition for properties currently in the pipeline to donate a portion of their value to developing a park, one that would benefit residents as well as visitors to the luxury hotels. Thank you.
Thank you. Genevieve Morel, followed by Jordan Beard, followed by Steve Penafil.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, city staff, and members of the public. Genevieve Morel, President, CEO for the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. First and foremost, I want to thank you for the free parking in April, for our We Happy program. It is part of our WeHo Gives Back. I promise I'm not holding up political placards. It is to support small business and grant programs. We have table tents and napkins and window clings around the city to help support that, and we'll be doing a happy hour program as part of this. As some of you may have heard, I have tendered my resignation with the Chamber of Commerce, which will take place, who knows? It is a long, fluid process that we will go through with the Chamber and the Chamber Board to look at a transition of new leadership. It gives me great pride that I came to West Hollywood in 1999. I made many friends and colleagues throughout the years, Councilmember Heilman and Councilmember Meister, one of the first people I met when I was here. It's been 15 years at the Chamber, 25 in West Hollywood. I started at Pacific Design Center as Director of Marketing, then became Vice President. One of the joys that I had was working with Tatiana on 5 years of exhibits with Lev, of Russian exhibits at the Pacific Design Center. So Lev holds a special place in my heart as well. I just wanted the public to know, in the city of West Hollywood, that this transition will be, as I said, it's a transition and it's not happening overnight. It'll happen throughout the year. And we will leave the chamber with good leadership and advocacy. It is a strong organization now. We've left it in good shape. We've taken the budget from a few $100,000 to $1 million. We've increased and doubled the staff. So we are strong and ready for action with our city partners. But I wanted to let you know that and just thank you all for all the years. And I'll be around. I'm not leaving anywhere, but I just wanted you all to know that. Thank you.
Thank you. Jordan Beard, followed by Steve Pennifield, followed by Alec White.
Hi there. I just wanted to voice my support for item F3, the Matthew Shepard Human Rights Triangle at Crescent Heights and Santa Monica Boulevard. I'm really curious to see what staff comes back with for that design. I think it's such a great location and offers so much potential, and I'd like to see it kind of reconfigured in a way that can be better activated and more inviting for pedestrians walking by. I know that intersection, over the last few years, there have been, I think, 6 bikers hit by cars and 7 pedestrians hit by cars at Crescent Heights and Santa Monica Boulevard. I think that the slip lanes that go northwards onto Crescent Heights allow cars to pass at a very high speed there. So just something to think about as we're reimagining this space, ways that we can make it feel more pedestrian friendly, less like a traffic island in the middle of high-speed traffic, and a place that people want to be in, a place to remember the memory of Matthew Shepard. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Pennifield, followed by Alec White, followed by Africa Rosas.
Hello, City Council. My name is Steve Pennifield, and I'm here to talk about item F3 regarding Matthew Shepard Triangle. I'm glad that this is on the agenda. I started a West Hollywood history walking tour, and I noticed that this area needed a lot of attention, especially when I bring visitors to come, see West Hollywood. So I had a conversation with Danny Hang, who I'm so excited that he put this on the agenda for the improvements, and that could happen, and help bring visitors to kind of understand the history of West Hollywood and the city, policy regarding, gay rights and human rights. So I'm glad this is an agenda, and I fully support it, and I hope we could improve it more and add some QR codes to explain the history more of West Hollywood incorporated in that triangle. That's it.
Thank you. Alec White, followed by Africa Rosas, followed by David Eichmann.
Good evening, Mayor Byers, Vice Mayor Heilman, and members of the City Council. Many of you know me as the Vice Chair of the LGBTQ+ Commission, but I'm speaking today in my personal capacity in support of F3. This memorial for Matthew Shepard at the Human Rights Triangle is more than just a space. It's a testament to our city's unwavering commitment to human rights and LGBTQ+ equality. When Matthew Shepard was brutally murdered in 1998, when I was only a toddler, his story ignited a movement that transformed our nation's approach to hate crimes and LGBTQ+ protections. By restoring this site in time for the 2028 Olympics, the 30th anniversary of Matthew's murder, we can commemorate his legacy and reaffirm that he will never be forgotten. Updating this memorial ensures there remains a powerful space for education, reflection, and remembrance, not just for our city, but by the world when visitors from across the world arrive for 2028. Let this restoration be a symbol of how far we've come and how much work we still have to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Africa Rosas, followed by David Eichmann and Rick Watts.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Africa Rosas, and I'm a Public Information Officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration, Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. I'm here to provide a reminder regarding the federal assistance available for those impacted by the January wildfires. Due to the Presidential Disaster Declaration signed on January 8th, the SBA is offering low-interest loans to affected homeowners, renters, businesses, and private nonprofit organizations in Los Angeles County. The SBA disaster loans are available for homeowners up to $500,000 to replace or repair their primary residence, renters and homeowners up to $100,000 to replace or repair personal property, businesses and private nonprofit organizations like churches up to $2 million to rebuild or replace their buildings and property. Additionally, small businesses can apply for up to $2 million in economic injury disaster loans to cover operation expenses. SBA offers low fixed interest rates with terms up to 30 years. There is no cost to apply and no obligation to accept the loan if approved. Rates are as low as 2.563 for homeowners and renters, 4% for businesses, and 3.625 for private nonprofit organizations. The loans don't need to be repaid for the first 12 months, and the interest doesn't accrue during that time. We have several centers open. You can look at them on our website, sba.gov/disaster. And our phone number is 800-659-2955. Deadline for physical damage is March 31st, and for economic injury is October 8th. Thank you for the opportunity to convey this important information.
Thank you very much. David Eichmann, followed by Rick Watts, followed by Yola Duray.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, council members. David Eichmann, Los Angeles resident and a business owner in the city of West Hollywood, also a member of the city's Transportation and Mobility Commission, although tonight I'm here on my own behalf. I wanted to talk to you about the size of our speed limit signs. So as the city moves forward with decreasing speed limits on certain streets, I recommend that we actually look at purchasing what are called oversized signs. Since the current speed limit signs will need to be replaced, there are two options. So oversized signs, or I should say standard signs, first of all, are 24 inches by 30 inches. Oversized signs are 30 inches by 36 inches. I think it's important, if we're going to do this, that the signs be visible. As we all know, if you travel down the street on a regular basis, you probably don't even see the speed limit signs anymore. So if we can make them bigger, perhaps more people will see them. And of course, for people driving down the streets for the first time, generally the bigger it is, the better and more visible it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Rick Watts, followed by Yola Duray, followed by Justine Block.
Thank you, Council. Rick Watts, City of West Hollywood. Hubert Humphrey said many years ago that the moral test of a government is how it treats those who are at the dawn of life, the children, those who are at the twilight of life, the aged, and those who are in the shadow of life, the sick, the needy, and the handicapped. Thankfully, West Hollywood does its best to pay homage to and to put into effect that quote with its own policies. But we are all, I think, in viewing with increasing horror what is going on in Washington, D.C. with an increasingly lawless administration that is seeking to dismantle the protections of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and now the dismantling of the Department of Education, to name but a few. And in the case of the Department of Education, that could well mean the dismantling of Title I protections that provide assistance to children with disabilities as well as many adults. It should be noted here, I think, that the quote by Martin Niemöller, that first they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. And they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me and there was no one left to speak. As Chris Cluey said down at Huntington Beach City Council a while back, make no mistake, MAGA may not be carrying swastikas, but it is a Nazi, neo-Nazi fascist movement, and it seeks to do us all great harm. And we need to protect our city that was founded on a progressive vision of inclusion for all, including all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Yola Duray, followed by Justine Block, and our final speaker is Buffalo.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, and honored guests. Yola Dore, 30-plus year resident of West Hollywood. The word disability, that's very interesting. It's the last part of that word that I want to focus on tonight. Ability. What a great opportunity I have had these years, as I've had the blessed opportunity to volunteer, advocate, and be part of the city. Recently, you honored me for that, and I am beyond grateful. Hollywood Now, the Women's Advisory Board in the city, gave me perhaps the greatest honor that I will treasure for the rest of my life. Just working with you and for persons with disabilities all these years has been a lovely opportunity, and one that I hope the young women of tomorrow will have. But not only those young women, the guys too. So in this time, and with all the challenges we have facing us, I hope you'll look at that word in a different light and consider ability. It's something we've all got. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Justine Block, followed by Buffalo, followed by Sonari Glinton.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, staff members, and members of the public. I am Justine Block, an attorney and longtime resident of our wonderful city of West Hollywood. I served on the former East Side Working Group and the General Plan Update Committee. I am here tonight to speak in support of item F5, the city's co-sponsorship of the Plant-Based Treaties Food Day as part of LA Climate Week. I participated in the city's Climate Week event last year where Mayor Byers spoke. The event was well attended and a good opportunity for community members such as myself to meet leaders in the climate action movement. This year, the event would be held on April 7th with the plant-based food served and panels of speakers and other activities for a full day. I appreciate Mayor Byers' leadership on this initiative and the council's leadership on the climate action issues, and I appreciate your consideration of this item tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Buffalo, followed by Sonari Glinton as our final speaker. If you intend to speak, please do fill out a comment card and get it in. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Buffalo, resident of West Hollywood. I wanted to quickly give a shout out to Block by Block. I've had 2 incidences over the past month in which they were able to help me quickly with an unhoused person, and then also there was a fight outside that they will help come check on both people involved really quickly, which was great. Beyond that, in line with what previous speaker Rick Watts had talked about, just given the climate that we're currently enduring under this presidency, I think it's even more important for this city to focus on whatever we can do to stockpile medicine and help support even places outside of the city like the LGBT Center, and making sure we have enough access for HIV medication, considering that we're having federal funding cut for HIV research and treatment. So much so that I think it should prioritize even other projects that we might be pursuing currently. For example, I know the San Vicente Street project is really beautiful. I think we should be prioritizing healthcare and housing, like really locking down, taking care of that. Beyond that, in line with what Wendy Goldman just talked about, I think we need to make sure we're utilizing the spaces we do have. For example, the corner over there, the Santa Monica and Melrose pit, I think honestly we should use that for something useful like an aquifer, if we could find a way to do that for water retention, and instead turn the top layer into like a park. I think whoever was doing that construction should lose their ability to use that facility for anything, considering how long it's been in the works. Beyond that, just focusing on locking down and taking care of what I think should be prioritized in the city given its history. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe our final speaker for tonight is Sonari Glinton.
I wanted to do a little show and tell because this is what I was wearing when I went to go into a bar in West Hollywood. Apparently, this is what a homeless person looks like. I was a little bit offended when the person said that, and then I realized that what offended me more was the idea that that my housing status has anything to do with whether or not I can go into a bar and buy a beer at 10 o'clock in the evening. And I decided to complain to the owner and to complain to you guys now because I haven't complained in the 13 years that I've been here. I thought that I was getting scrutinized for a bit because I look so young. But I'm nearly 50. I should not have my ID scrutinized in the way that it is when I am in West Hollywood. I moved here specifically 13 years ago so I could have a semblance of safety, so I could feel at home. I didn't want to be a double minority wherever I went. And I thought, oh, maybe in this environment, going into a bar on Santa Monica Boulevard for a gay black man should not be an issue. It's ridiculous and it's offensive to me. How many awards do I have to win? How much work do I have to do? How many millions of people do I have to talk to about race before, in my own hometown, I can just walk into a bar without tremendous amounts of scrutiny? And it happens all up and down the street, and it is absolutely infuriating. And I want everyone to feel a little bit of the discomfort that I feel all the time because I'm a black man and I can't go into a bar in West Hollywood. It makes no sense, and it might as well be somewhere else.
I believe that concludes our public comment period. We don't have anybody online.
Anyone online?
Okay, thank you. We will turn over to our city manager's report. David Wilson, will you please provide us with your report?
Thank you, Mayor.
We were about to approve the consent.
You're good. Not yet. Over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I just have a few announcements this evening. The Los Angeles Department of Water and Power will be installing a new water line for the Holloway Transitional Housing Program this week. There will be partial westbound lane closures on Santa Monica Boulevard during the daytime hours on Wednesday, March 19th to Friday, March 21st from Holloway Drive to La Cienega Boulevard. We invite all community members to attend the city's Public Safety Awards luncheon that will be held on Wednesday, March 26th from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. here at the City Council Chambers. We will be recognizing the West Hollywood Sheriff's Station, the LA County Fire Department, Block by Block, and our code enforcement team. For more information, please visit our website at weho.org/calendar. And I do want to just congratulate Genevieve Morrow on her retirement from the Chamber of Commerce. Whenever that actually does happen, you will be greatly missed. And then I want to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day. And I do want to apologize to Mr. Glinton for what he experienced in the bars here in West Hollywood. And so we'll have more discussions about that. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, and thank you for the remarks at the end. I was going to ask specifically what we could do to follow up, so I appreciate the intention to have ongoing conversations about our city's policies. Vice Mayor?
David, we've had a very difficult time with DWP and the construction work that they have been doing on La Cienega, as well as Holloway. A lack of notice, traffic control that hasn't been appropriate or effective. Can we get a report on what we're doing to try to address that? I know you mentioned that they're going to be doing work associated with the Holloway House, but it's ongoing construction that has really adversely impacted traffic significantly, with traffic being blocked up all the way to Sunset, along with projects on Sunset that are also blocking traffic. So I don't, as somebody who lives in the affected area, I can tell you there's been no notification at all other than the original notification. And we don't get any updates as to what is being done and when the roads are going to be closed.
Okay. Yes, we'll contact DWP and provide an update to the council and the public.
Thank you. Can we get a fiscal impact on the consent calendar tonight, please, City Clerk?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The fiscal impact on tonight's consent calendar with the addition of items F2, F3, F4, and F6 is $9,661,769 in expenditures, $61,370 in revenue, and $147,305 in waived fees. And we do have a motion and a second to adopt tonight's consent calendar. And the motion passes 4-0.
Excellent. We will move on to item E1, unfinished business. Oh, I'm sorry, did I skip it?
D1.
Sorry, item D1, legislative, or I thought we put this on consent. Oh, you had comments, I'm sorry. So an ordinance of the City Council of the City of West Hollywood amending section the municipal code to provide rebates for business lease and renewals. Do you need a full presentation or do you have your questions ready to go? Terrific. We'll turn it over to you for your questions to begin then. Yep.
Hello. So my question are, one, I just want to confirm that this is for any size business, that the restriction of minimum 10,000 square feet is gone, as is the restriction of minimum 5 million in gross receipts?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And then can you look at attachment C, the red line version? I believe that's the red line version. Okay, so looking at the red line version, it looks like you're now omitting new leases and just including renewals. And if so, I don't understand why we would want to omit new leases. Why wouldn't we want to include both new and renewals?
Well, there's a separate section for the new businesses that come into the city. So currently, new businesses in the city get they pay 0 in business tax except for the regulatory fees, and then the second year 50%, and then the third year is where they pay the full business tax.
Okay, so because this one, the red line crosses out, enters into a commercial lease. So is that always referring to a renewal? If there's a separate section for new leases?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Laura Byrie, Director of Economic Development for the city. There is a separate section of the municipal code related to what we call the new business tax credit, and that applies to the new businesses. This particular section, 3.36.0090, was specific to the rebate for large businesses on renewals.
Okay, because it says incentive. I just want to make sure again, because the old version didn't say anything about renewal. It said incentive and enters into a commercial lease. So I guess the old version wasn't clear that you were talking about renewals. So now we're clarifying it's about renewals, and we're going to include small businesses under 10,000 and under 10,000 square feet and under 5 million in gross receipts.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, okay then. Never mind. So that's great. There looks like they're speakers.
Oh, Councilmember Hang, do you want to?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much. Just a quick question. It looks like from what I read, the program requirements are that businesses are current on business taxes, have no outstanding city debt, and comply with city regulations. Will you also be checking the businesses' state franchise tax or IRS, see if they're up to date with the state and the feds as well?
That is not part of what we're checking for. We're just checking to make sure that they don't have any city-owned or city debt to the city, whether that be for fines or any other fee, and then as well as any city regulations. So we're not checking on any additional requirements besides those.
Thank you.
Councilmember Meister.
Yep, thank you. So that made me think of one more question, and that is with our cannabis businesses, they have to pay into a marketing fee. So I just want to make sure that that would be one of those things that we have to make sure that they are up to date on whatever marketing
Yes,
fees.
that is correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Great, and we'll turn over to the public speaker. We have signed up Genevieve Morrill.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, Genevieve Morrill, President, CEO of the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. We support this item. We thank city staff for all their hard work and economic development on this. I did ask Paulo right before the meeting, similar question that Councilmember Meister asked, and I think it's the first 2 years they get their business tax free waived, correct? And then there'd be a gap, and then after 5 years, so it would be the third and fourth year they would be paying a business tax, I would think, and then at the fifth year, renewal. So there's 2 years after the first and second year is waived fee, then pay the tax the third and fourth year, and then get a rebate the fifth year, I think is how it would work. But we support the program. I'd love to see it just that third and fourth year too, if we could, just because it's been such a struggle right now to keep businesses here. Of course, I'm going to ask for as much as we can for the businesses, but we definitely support this program. You know, business taxes aren't that much for a business in the scheme of operations, but every little bit helps. And also it sends a message to the businesses of the support that the city has to really want to keep these businesses here and sustain and make them sustainable in the city. So we really appreciate all your work. Thank you.
Councilmember Meister.
So that made me think of another question, which is what happens if the business lease, is it a 10-year lease or a 50-year lease? So they're not going to be coming back at a 5-year lease. So
Yeah, so the proposed ordinance, the proposed ordinance tonight would only be available for business leases of renewals of 5 years or more. So whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20-year lease, it would only be applicable once in that period.
at the 5-year, if it's a 5-year, 10-year, if it's a 10-year, or is it everybody who's got a lease at 5 years?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if it's a 5, 10, or 15. The lease that would, the renewal that would be applicable to that would be the year preceding that lease.
Many business leases are 5-year leases with an option to renew for another 5 years. So the 5-year, I think, would cover almost all of the leases that we would likely see in the city.
That's right.
And if somebody is entering into a longer lease, it's usually they're benefiting from that long term because they're getting a lower rate for a longer period of time. So, and they're likely not a business that would need an additional incentive after the first 5 years.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, I think we have a motion. Thank you.
And the motion passes 4-0.
And thank you so much for your work on this and bringing it forward. And I hope Genevieve can communicate to the business community. I think it's a good incentive for our businesses.
Got applause. Thank you. Thank you all for the presentation. We'll move on to item E1 now, unfinished business, commission and advisory board appointments and reappointments. Remember, we're not going to do at large, only our directs that we have. And City Clerk, I'll turn it over to you to facilitate this.
Thank you, Mayor. So I will just start with the Arts and Cultural Affairs Commission, Council Member, or Vice Mayor Heilman and Mayor Byers. Are you ready to make your appointments this evening?
I'm going to appoint Heather Nagel.
Great, thank you.
And I'll reappoint Dawn Moreno Friedman.
Great. Okay. Business License Commission, Mayor Byers, are you ready?
Yes, Mark Yusupov.
Okay, thank you. HPC, we finished. Human Services Commission, we finished. LGBTQ+.
We didn't finish Human Services Commission.
Oh, we have Sam Borelli. Your appointment, are you ready?
I am appointing Sam Borelli.
Okay. I just assumed. No, I'm just kidding. Planning Commission. Oh, we're done with PFC, Public Safety. Rent Stabilization Commission. Vice Mayor Hamlin, are you ready?
Yes, I'm appointing Agassi Chapchin.
Okay. And Councilmember Hang?
Thank you, City Clerk. I'm not ready yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We did transport. Oh, we have transportation. Are you ready, Vice Mayor?
I'm going to reappoint David Eichmann.
Great, thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to advisory boards, which we did not start at the last meeting, so we are starting from the beginning. Disabilities Advisory Board, Councilmember Hang.
I would like to appoint Logan Latham as my direct.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Meister.
Louise Smith.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Heilman.
Ann Simonko.
Thank you. Mayor
I'm
Byers?
not ready yet.
Okay. Now we will move on to the Older Adults Advisory Board. Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, City Clerk. I would like to appoint Wendy Jane Carroll.
Thank you. Councilmember Meister.
Pat Dixon.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Heilman.
Not ready yet.
Thank you. Mayor Byers.
John Allendorfer.
Thank you. And Russian Speaking Advisory Board. Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, City Clerk. I would like to appoint Sasha Razor.
Thank you. Councilmember Meister.
Royer Sagup.
Vice Mayor Heilman.
Levitov. I want to reappoint. Thank you.
Layubayev Levitan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor Byers.
I'm also reappointing Miroslava Reitko.
Perfect. Thank you.
She is.
Social Justice Advisory Board. Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, City Clerk. I would like to appoint Marlene Esquivel as my direct.
Okay. Councilmember Meister.
I'm not ready yet on that one.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Heilman.
Jonathan Wilson.
Thank you. Mayor Byers.
Eden Luna.
Thank you. Transgender Advisory Board. Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, City Clerk. I'm not ready for this one yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Meister.
Mariana Marukan.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Heilman.
Karina Samala.
And Mayor Byers.
Sydney Rogers. Yeah.
Great.
Great.
And finally, Women's Advisory Board. Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, City Clerk. I'm not ready yet for this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Meister.
Helene Wilborn.
Vice Mayor Heilman.
I'm going to reappoint Angela.
And Mayor Byers.
Deborah Chirac.
Great. Okay, so that is it for our direct appointments for this evening. We will return with this item again until we are complete and have done all of our appointments and reappointments.
Thank you very much. And did you have anything to say on this? you're signed up to, no?
Oh,
Okay.
no, that's
No problem.
old.
We'll move on to item F1, new business, the Movie Square building assessment and accessibility standards for future affordable housing projects. I believe you wanted to hold this back for comments, Councilmember Meister? Yeah.
And I'm trying to get my speaker thing removed, and now I've pressed it twice. So, withdraw request. Here we go.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Did you want me to start?
Yeah, I think you were the one who had comments on this.
I am. I'm very supportive of the item. I just wanted to make sure that we're looking at elevators, which I believe is something that has been a big problem at the Movie site, considering the number of units that are there in the affordable units, the affordable section where the affordable units are. And I also wanted to make sure that we're looking at our universal design code. This was something that council, it was an item that I had brought forward. Council approved it years ago, and then I sort of don't know what happened to it. And so I want to make sure that that is also considered when we're looking at this item, because that's a very important part of accessibility and being able to age in place is universal design. So those were my comments.
Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I have no objection to asking staff to look at that. I just wanted to clarify the senior building that is at what we call Movietown Plaza. That building was built by the commercial developer and then later turned over to the West Hollywood Community Housing Corporation to operate. One of the issues that has arisen in the building is there's only one elevator, and if something happens with the elevator, as equipment does go down from time to time, that makes it very difficult for the residents in the building. And the other big issue is that the fire exit out of the parking structure is actually going through part of the building, or at least into a stairwell. And there have been a number of incidents with homeless individuals getting into that stairwell and then residents feeling like they cannot access it, as well as other things such as debris and human waste being left in the stairwell. So those are significant problems that the residents have complained about. One other issue is that the alarm system in the building sometimes goes off unexpectedly for no apparent reason. Maybe it is the doorway, but that is another issue that seems to be a recurrent problem. So this is really giving direction to our staff to work with the current operator to look at whether there are solutions to those problems to try to address that, as well as looking at the construction of affordable and senior buildings and buildings for people with disabilities more generally, to make sure that we don't have buildings in the future that don't have a second elevator to address the access when it's a building of a certain size.
And if I can just add, these are exactly the same issues that have happened at Sierra Bonita, that building. And that's a 5-story building. They've had times when the elevator has been out for days, and they have people who cannot get up and down the stairs. Same thing with access, where someone's been able to get into the building that shouldn't be there, and the alarm going off and scaring everybody, and when it didn't seem to be for any apparent reason. So I would suggest that, we look at, comments that have been made in the past about various buildings and make sure that, maybe we don't limit it to Movietown Plaza. We look at these other affordable buildings as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Councilmember
bringing this forward.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually wanted to thank the Vice Mayor for bringing this item forward. Accessibility is an issue. And if a building only has one elevator and you have older adults or people with disabilities who may not be mobile and go up and down stairs, it does create an issue. So it's a safety issue. So I wanted to thank the Vice Mayor for bringing this item forward.
Thank you.
didn't get one. Hold on.
Sounded like he was with it.
Let's redo the motion.
Okay.
Yes, we're revoting because there was a problem.
There we go.
There you go. Okay, and the motion passes 4-0.
Okay, no problems on that one. Thank you. We'll move on to F5, the co-sponsorship of Plant-Based Treaties Food Day and West Hollywood event. And thank you all for indulging me on holding this. I see that we do have a public commenter signed up. I just wanted to say, as somebody who co-sponsored this and has been working with this organization, it was on my recommendation that they stayed at the lower end of the co-sponsorship funding opportunities, and in hearing the work that they've put in, the number of RSVPs they have committed with this many weeks out, and in some of the challenges that they've experienced in trying to coordinate the packaging of the food in alignment with the values of sustainability that the organization has, they're reaching barriers that felt like it was going to put the event in jeopardy in the way that they've advertised it and promoted it to the community. So I wanted to ensure that we gave them the best opportunity possible to get to the event that they had been working so hard to do, and that would require us increase from the $2,500 to the $5K amount. Unless there's any quick questions at this time, I can have the public speaker come up to share, and then we can deliberate if that works for you all. Okay, great. Sam, would you like to come up and deliver your public comment with Plant-Based Treaty?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Byers, Vice Mayor Heilman, council members, city staff, and the city of West Hollywood. My name is Sam, and I am an organizer for Plant-Based Treaty. Thank you for this item to co-host and co-sponsor a Food Day event on April 7th at Fiesta Hall. The event is a public community event during LA Climate Week to increase the awareness of how we can use a plant-based food system to be more sustainable. We really appreciate that the city of West Hollywood is taking action on the public information campaign to help everyone understand how we can live more sustainably. Last year during LA Climate Week, we hosted a town hall at Fiesta Hall with one panel. This year, we're going to host a full day with 3 panels with a lot of activities, including the mayor and council members making remarks, 3 panel discussions, networking with other cities and stakeholders, and a lot of food, from breakfast to lunch to a mocktail happy hour. Since the entire program starts from 10 to 5:30, we would really appreciate it if the council could increase the budget based on the mayor's recommendation. It is a really great opportunity to help public understand the action we can all take to fight climate change. As always, thank you for your leadership and setting such a great example for other cities to follow in climate action and creating a resilient and sustainable community. We're all very excited to co-host this event with the city of West Hollywood. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hing?
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to thank the speaker who just spoke right now, and thank you, Mayor, for bringing this item forward. I'm in support of increasing it to $5,000. Pardon me. It aligns with our city goals. It supports the sustainability initiatives and climate-friendly food choices. It encourages community participation in plant-based diets to combat climate change, and it builds on past city policies, including Green Day Initiative in 2018, Sustainable Food Policy for city-sponsored events in 2024, and support for a global plant-based treaty. So this is great. I'm in favor of increasing it to 5,000, and it promotes public awareness of plant-based diets and environmental sustainability. It'll encourage sustainable transportation choices, walking, cycling, and public transit, and it'll enhance community engagement and aligns with West Hollywood's advocacy for regional climate change. So I'm very excited about this, and I'm in full support of increasing it to 5,000.
Thank you. Councilmember Meister, Vice Mayor? No, oh, okay. Just making the motion. Thank you.
I'll move the item with the increase in funding.
Thank you. And just as we're moving to vote, I want to appreciate you all. I know there's been a lot of different activities and education events on this, and we have such a great committed group of volunteers and folks working on behalf of this community. This is the second event that they hosted in the city. It was not technically a co-sponsorship, the LA Climate Week panel that we had in the city last year, but I'm really grateful for their continued interest in the city and our investment in their work here. I really appreciate. So thank you all so much. That motion carries, and I think that makes us at the end of our very quick agenda tonight already. So we'll go on. There's nothing on excluded consents tonight. We'll go on to our final public comment period. Do we have anybody signed up for our final public comment?
We do not.
Wow, amazing. We'll move on to council member comments and meeting attendance reports. Which of my colleagues would like to begin? You ready, Councilmember Hang? Wonderful.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to report that I attended the National League of Cities in Washington, D.C. The mayor and Councilmember Erickson and I had a meeting with Congresswoman Laura Friedman, and I'm very proud and happy to say that Mayor Byers represented West Hollywood on a national stage alongside Maryland Governor Wes Moore and Savannah, Georgia Mayor Van Johnson on a panel for disaster relief and recovery. So it was a treat to see our mayor represent our city on the national stage. Our mayor was also invited to give a presentation at the FEMA headquarters in Washington, D.C., where she also represented our city on a national stage. I also attended the Owls Neighborhood Watch meeting. I also attended the West Hollywood V-Day 1 Billion Rising commemoration event. And I also attended the LA Marathon. It was great to see 26,000 participants run the marathon, and congratulations to all who ran it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those comments. Councilmember Meister?
Thank you, Mayor. So I represented the West Side Cities COG at the SCAG Executive Administration Committee meeting and the SCAG Energy and Environment Committee meeting and the SCAG Regional Council meeting, all in one day. Attended the Owls Neighborhood Watch Group meeting. Also got to see our vice mayor running the marathon, well, walking fast.
Just the half. Just the half.
So congratulations to him. I assume he made it. You made it? So,
I think so. I think I'm still here.
Good. On consent calendar, I just, regarding B7, approval of the 2026 Arts Grant, I just want to thank our Arts and Cultural Affairs staff and commissioners for the exciting art programs that you have planned for 2026. Item B9, which is the General Plan and Housing Element Annual Progress Reports for calendar year 2024. Not much to say except that when 4 cities have similar percentages and we're clearly more built out and more dense than any of our neighbors, I think it's time for the state to rethink their one-size-fits-all policies regarding housing. The city manager mentioned the West Hollywood Public Safety Awards luncheon and ceremony, so I won't. But I will mention the 28th Annual Women in Leadership Awards and reception on March 26th at 6 p.m. Please join us at the Andaz as the City of West Hollywood, its Women's Advisory Board, and the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce present the 28th Annual Women in Leadership Awards. The awards honor the achievements of local women in the greater community, and for more information, you could go to the city's calendar. I want to also just congratulate and also be sad about Genevieve Morrill transitioning, but I know that whatever she does, she will just excel and be an asset to the next phase. And we know we're not losing you for a while, so don't expect me to do this at every meeting. Congratulations also to Yola Dore on her recognition, the recognition of her service by the Women's Advisory Board and Hollywood Now. And I think that is it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I attended various community events. I know that the city manager talked about Mr. Glinton's comments, but I think I want to emphasize that this is something where we really need to do outreach to the bar owners and to the the people who are checking people in. It can't just be the owners. We have to eliminate this kind of activity where people are being excessively screened clearly because of their race or their ethnicity. This is something that we had to deal with very early on in the city. And it's painful to hear that it is still going on to this day. And hopefully most of our bar owners are in agreement that that kind of activity is unacceptable, but I'm hoping that we can have a very frank conversation with the owners and the operators and their employees about the importance of treating everyone with respect as they're entering an establishment. I don't think there's anything we can do about people being carded. That's ABC. Frankly, I'm happy when I'm carded, but I know if it's being done in a discriminatory way, it's not pleasant. I wanted to thank not only all of the, there was thank you to the marathon, but I want to thank our staff, because our staff were out there very early in the morning, setting up the barriers, and late in the day, removing them. And they were out there all day long. And our firefighters and public safety staff just do a remarkable job. And I want to congratulate all of the West Hollywood residents who participated either in the full or the half marathon. Those running the half were raising money for charity, so I really appreciate the work you were doing. And then finally, I got a letter today, which I will share with the city manager and city staff. Somebody got a parking ticket in a red zone in front of a driveway that is no longer serving anything. So we have a number of locations where there are driveways and there's construction, and so the driveway does not actually serve anybody. So we need to look at maybe removing those red zones and converting that back to street parking where it's appropriate. If the driveway has been removed, if it doesn't go into anything, there's no reason for it to be a red zone anymore. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for my meeting attendance. I participated in a number of community events over the last couple of weeks. I attended the Los Angeles County Affordable Housing Solutions Agency board meeting, the Budget and Finance Subcommittee meeting. I was happy to participate in the Chamber board installation, and congratulations and happy retirement to you, Genevieve. And then I also, as was mentioned, participated in the National League of Cities and the Transportation Infrastructure Services Advocacy Committee I serve on there, the LGBTQ plus local officials board, as well as the disaster relief panel. It was a real honor to represent not only our city's interests, but the regions when it came to our work on disaster relief in this moment, and as well as the sort of ongoing concurrent reality of seismic retrofitting and being in a region that is sort of always at the ready for disaster. And it really gave me an opportunity to think about the choices that we make and how we represent ourselves as a city. And for West Hollywood, so many of the ways that we represent ourselves is so deeply ingrained into who we are and the choices that have been made as a city from the very beginning of it. And so it was a real honor to get to talk about what it means to be a city founded in the times of crisis, when the AIDS epidemic first struck, and what that meant to invest in a realm of social service agencies that could become trusted messengers and resources for a very diverse community of people, and the role that we played in helping unlock more housing for a region that is so short on the number of housing units it has to offer, and especially when those units become more devastated by crisis. So I just am really grateful for the opportunity. It was a very odd moment to be on stage as the final speaker before the Vice President of the United States took the stage to speak. But it gave me a very clear moment to help define who we are as a city and what choices I will be making in the face of those opportunities to define ourselves. So I'm grateful for that. And just finally, I want to follow up on what the Vice Mayor said around this awful issue that our resident experienced, and I'm so sorry to hear about. It is an issue that my LGBTQ plus Commissioner Amber Whittington has also been raising to me, and I know in ways through that commission as well, the issues of dress codes and standards, and the way that no matter what rules seem to be in place, there is still discrimination practices happening at the door. So I'm so sorry to hear of the way you experienced that, and grateful to the Vice Mayor for making some direction around what we can be doing to better take up this issue, because there is work to be done. We know that certainly, and we are committed to doing that. And I thank you all for a very quick and efficient meeting. And I know we have several weeks off before our next on April 7th. So I wish everyone a very wonderful start to spring, a happy St. Patty's Day tonight. And there are so many wonderful events that will be taking place throughout our community in the coming weeks. I know we have women's leadership events happening. We will be swearing in a pet mayor on April 5th. So I hope to see you in West Hollywood Park for some fun. Enjoy the Picasso Pets event and everything else. Please be sure you check out that West Hollywood calendar for all the great things happening. And we'll see you back here as this meeting's now adjourned at 7:15. We'll see you back April 7th for the next West Hollywood City Council meeting. Thank you all for a great night.